You teach and lecture in the great universities of the world, and this is a very tiny little institution in one of the world's intellectual capitals, Princeton. If you had a hope, an ambition for the center, given your concerns, what do you think this little center, an ecumenical institution for advanced scholarship, what can we contribute to that wider academic world?
To first of all be what you are, and to nurture small-scale conversations, because the depth of the connections that can be established among 8 or 10 or a dozen people far outweigh the influence of rather more shallow connections that can be established among 100 people. Particularly when the 8 or 10 or 12 people are themselves returning to their own positions elsewhere in the academy. They're engaging themselves in other conversations, they're organizing other conferences, they are working as public intellectuals and as professional scholars in other ways. So they are taking out into the world what has been nurtured and built here. I don't see that the Centre wants to depart very much from this model. I do think it is unique the way that our working group has engaged, has been not just ecumenical in a theological and doctrinal sense, but it's been ecumenical in a broader sense of bringing people together from genuinely other disciplines. We're all men and women of faith, but half our members are not theologians, and they would not ordinarily find themselves in a theological conversation sustained in the way that we have sustained it. The Centre's commitment to encourage working groups of that caliber and of that character, I think has been a huge achievement. It doesn't happen elsewhere. Normally the tendency would be not to make it interdisciplinary for fear of diluting the conversation and fear of diluting the results. Somehow, and this is under your leadership, somehow we've managed to make it interdisciplinary as well as ecumenical without sacrificing, in my view, any element of depth. At the Centre, I'm suddenly in an atmosphere and around a table where the ability to explore that heritage and map it onto difficult and demanding questions about law and obligation and rights and dignity is suddenly affirmed, as you said, seamlessly and effortlessly by people around the table. The affirmation is effortless, the work isn't effortless, the work is very difficult and demanding. It is taken for granted in the room when I'm working with Robin and Mary Ellen and yourself and the other 8 or 9 members of the group. It is taken for granted that you can draw on your biblical, liturgical, doctrinal heritage, marry that with the understanding of philosophy, marry that with the understanding of law, and bring those connections to bear in discussion, and listen to what the theologians tell you and the international lawyers tell you, and make the connections. It works wonderfully, and the Centre provides a glorious housing for that enterprise.